All right, we want to get back to that breaking news of this police pursuit that we're following right now. Now, cops are wanting the driver of this black sedan you see right here. We were learning a little bit more about what may have caused this, but give you an idea, this is an Encino and Burbank Boulevard. He was on the 101 to the 170. It appears now this person is on the cross streets. Now, Amy, we did also learn that this pursuit started around 10:12 in North Hollywood near the Oxnard and Lincolnshire intersection. Originally, the want was burglary, so it's interesting to see if it's just that one person or possibly one or more inside this vehicle.
It did, in fact, almost look like you could see movement in that passenger seat. I saw what looked like papers, maybe somebody moving something. And the quick glimpse that we got of the driver, I couldn't quite tell if that was a man or a woman. But when we had this for you a little earlier, they were on the 101, which we always talk about. The fact that when a pursuit is happening on a freeway, it is less dangerous, still dangerous, but not as dangerous as on the surface streets where you've got pedestrians, you've got stoplights, you've got stop signs, but they are stopping at this light. And then you see the other car, Chris, next to it, right there on the right. This person might not even be aware that this car is being pursued right now because it's just stopped right there at the intersection. And, you know, you've got all those cruisers right behind it.
I mean, yeah, if they're paying attention, they got to understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 black and whites cruisers. You got the LAPD from the sky as well. This is an Encino. So since we've been following this pursuit, they started Encino. They are still there. And I mean, the driver obviously knows that this person is wanted. But what's interesting, Amy, is, you know, it is Friday. Kids are back to school, so there's not as much traffic when it comes there. But the streets, they're not so bad. So it's giving this pursuit suspect, this burglary suspect, the opportunity to continue to keep going. And I'm curious right now if this is a red light that they're stopped at or if they're just stopped right now trying to decide, hey, am I going to surrender?
Yeah, they started to roll through that intersection slightly. You see that now they're taking off. I guess they were waiting on that green light, making sure that they, were going through that intersection safely. There weren't other cars, but we are seeing that they have picked up the pace a little bit here, going over 60 miles per hour here on White Oak Avenue. And looks like they've got wide open roadway here ahead of them. And those cruisers seem to be backing off just a little bit now. And oftentimes they'll do that to see if that driver will slow down. But we're coming up to another intersection right now, and it looks like another red light, Chris.
Yeah, and as far as we are concerned, they are following the traffic rules. They are staying in Encino, so it makes you wonder if they're in fact, familiar with this area. Again, the burglary, we're not exactly sure what kind of a burglary it was, but it happened in North Hollywood. If you're familiar, it's the Oxnard and Lincolnshire intersection. It's a very busy intersection, a lot of different stores and businesses and whatnot. So that we're still trying to figure out who was taken there, but LAPD is the one that's in charge of this. Again, they went from the 101. We're taking a close look. What do you see there, Amy? You have better eyes than I do.
It's harder for me to see because
like
of the reflection,
guy,
but it is a young male there behind the steering wheel, and I'm trying to see if there's anybody in the back seat or anybody in that passenger seat. Now, interestingly enough, Chris, we can see he's kind of looking behind him there, in the side view mirror. But a lot of times these drivers are moving around a lot. They're very anxious. We see a lot of movement. This guy is sitting there pretty calm, sitting at that light, waiting for the light to change. You just wonder why he won't just pull over.
I mean, sometimes they're, potentially processing what happened. But you're right. I mean, he definitely seemed very calm. I mean, I'm pretty sure he understands that, the black and whites and LAPD is trying to get him to pull over, but his speeds are increasing right here. He is staying on the city streets, which makes things definitely more dangerous. It is coming to lunchtime, so more people are going to be out and about, getting off work early, what have you. I mean, thankfully, most of the kids are back in school, so that does kind of help. But when it comes to those school zones, he's bound to run into one. He needs to make sure that the kids are safe and staying indoors, especially with this person and this burglary suspect.
Yeah, I gotta admit though, well, now he's making a right-hand turn here on, Van Owen. And I'm kind of surprised at how light traffic is in the valley here. Oftentimes on a Friday, 10:30 in the morning, you've got a lot of traffic. This guy has been, driving pretty, decent here. He hasn't been all over the road, hasn't been real aggressive, waiting at those lights. So certainly, not as concerning as some of the pursuits that we see. We do have our Kalina Estrino standing by in our traffic center, and Kalina, traffic is relatively light, which certainly is helping the suspect out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On the freeway, it was a different story if this person would have been heading, toward downtown. The northbound drive that he was on was actually wide open pretty much all the way into Ventura County. But these surface streets, like you guys mentioned, this is where it kind of becomes an issue. I was looking around the area following Chopper's feed, and there are several elementary schools in the area, and a lot of them take their first or second recess right around this time. And typically with recess time, some parents, especially on a Friday, will go pick up their kid to then have an early weekend. Of course, I'm not quite sure if that's happening or how many could be impacted in some capacity, if there are going to be a lot of kids that might be out today. But this time frame right now is what's a little bit of a concern for me. There's also, several surface streets in this area. So far, as I'm looking at the map, like you guys are seeing play out live, not a lot of traffic on the surface streets. Typically, we see this in this particular area. Lake Balboa doesn't really have a lot of congestion on a lot of these smaller surface streets. It's more of the major ones like White Oak or Balboa, which we did see earlier, some of those delays right at the stop signs or stop lights, but not on some of the other ones like we saw on Lindley or Reseda Boulevard. So that's kind of what, we're watching right now. But looking at this play out, I mean, the driver is going 48, 50 miles per hour on a surface street, and that's definitely not the speed that you would be going on Van Owen, especially here. And I'm just a little concerned now that, it's a Friday and, you have kids that are back in school. And if some kiddos may be crossing the street or walking around, or parents may go to pick them up, that could be a little bit of a concern. And obviously, if this driver does end up getting back on the freeway, we have seen that before with past pursuits, right? They turn around, they take an exit, they end up back on the freeway. If for some reason that happens, that 101 is pretty open right now, to and from the 405. If they were to head southbound and continue into downtown, you got some traffic. If they head northbound, though, pretty much through Woodland Hills, Tarzana, beyond, like I said, in Ventura County, it's actually looking pretty good. So I'm trying to get more information as far as what's going on here, just like you guys are. But I just wanted to give you kind of a blanket idea of what this driver might be dealing with in the Van Nuys area right now.
Yeah, and it's just wild. I mean, to look at these city roads, I mean, the fact that there, is so much traffic is definitely something that we're not used to here, that's for sure. But again, if you're just now watching right now, this is a pursuit that we have going on that started out of North Hollywood. The pursuit began as they started to chase this potential burglary suspect. I mean, we did do a shot where we could zoom in on who the driver was. It appeared to be a younger man, potentially 20s or 30s. I wasn't able to tell who was inside the car with him, but one of the things that you noticed was his stillness. He seemed very cool, calm, and collected for the most part, because sometimes we'll watch these pursuits and they have erratic behavior inside. But I mean, there's also the concern, because if this is in fact a burglary suspect, then this driver could potentially be armed. And when somebody's armed, you never know what could happen. So obviously they're making sure that the community stays safe, and they keep quite a bit of distance, which is why we haven't seen things like, pit maneuvers or things like that.
Yeah, and in all honesty, Chris, these conditions are kind of ripe for either a spike strip or a pit maneuver, because you don't have a lot of traffic on the roadway, and they could in fact try something like that because the speeds have been low enough, and they could in fact try something like that because the speeds have been low enough. These drivers can't be going too fast, and they can't be going too slow for it to be a successful pit maneuver. But we're watching again as this person is just sitting at the intersection waiting for the light to change. It's been really almost impossible to see into that passenger seat. Can you see? I can't tell if anybody else. It looks like he's texting.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
looked like there was a phone in his lap and he was texting, which, you never know if they're texting someone else, trying to meet up with someone, saying, hey, I'm being chased, meet me here, meet me there. And, so often we see them trying to meet up with someone. So that could be what they're doing. Somebody could be telling them, hey, just pull over. It's not worth it. That's what we hope is happening.
Is
but
a tapping? Kind of hard to see. You can see his hands. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they are driving slow, if they're texting, obviously, they're taking the time to get that out there. But texting and driving, as we know, is not safe. That's for sure. But we talk about this all the time. People that like to stick in that same area, it's areas that they know. The original one was in North Hollywood. Now they're in Van Nuys. So they're staying in the close proximity, that's for sure. But we have seen 5 to 6 police officer vehicles chasing this person, trying to get this person to pull over. Hopefully, whoever they're talking to gets them to, surrender peacefully and safely.
Yeah, they're just sitting there, and it looks like they could actually be going. There's no hurry.
Oh, that looks like, is that drugs? Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like they're lighting something up.
Yeah,
so,
we do see
I mean,
some
you
stuff.
see that right there, the mental state. It's not going to be the best.
No, and then you also have to be concerned about how their driving may be impaired because of this activity, and certainly making it more dangerous out there on the roadways, even though we have been surprised to see how light traffic is on these surface streets. But, when someone might be involved in doing some drugs or impaired in any way, and of course a pursuit, because we know that they are desperate to get away, this just isn't a good situation. So we're watching. I still can't tell if there's someone in the passenger seat. Chris, have you been able to see at all if there's any other movement there?
I have not seen anything either, and obviously we're still trying to confirm that right now. All police are telling us right now is that they're pursuing this black Honda that started in North Hollywood. So the person could potentially be armed. We just saw them doing what appears to be lighting something, potentially a drug or a nicotine of some sort, not exactly sure. But yeah, we know that this was a burglary suspect wanted out of North Hollywood. And it was when they tried to get this person to pull over is when that pursuit obviously started.
And you mentioned earlier that was at Oxnard and Lancashire.
Yeah.
This person's still in the Valley area now in Van Nuys, and we're now starting to see a little bit more aggressive driving here, picking up the speed, getting through that intersection. And, we just don't know how desperate this person is to get away. We have not heard if they know who the suspect is. Oftentimes, if the car hasn't been reported stolen, they might know who this person is because of the car and the license plate. And we only heard that it was a burglary. So we don't know if this person is armed or not, what they were actually trying to steal, or if it was at a car or a house. We just don't know, or even a business. So we're just watching as this person still refuses to stop, despite those 6 cruisers that are right behind with lights and sirens on, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm checking our system right now to see what information we have from the LAPD, and at this point, still no information on this suspect, who this is.
Going into a little, looks like into a business area, a parking lot there, Chris, and you see some people up ahead.
And you got to hope that this person, peacefully lets them pass. But I'm curious, what kind of business lot is this?
We're in Van Nuys at Archwood Street and Van Nuys Boulevard. It looks like some type of industrial type of business. You've got a lot of people out there. We saw people walking, somebody on a bike, and certainly speed bumps, so they're not going too fast. Almost looks like a grocery store or something there on the right side, but with the parking lot. But
which is interesting. It makes me wonder if they're trying to hide from police or use this as an opportunity to escape. We'll have to see what he does here. Okay, he's driving through the middle of the parking lot. This could have maybe been an opportunity to try to ditch the car and get out, or maybe nope, they're going back onto the main road. So the pursuit continuing right now. That could have been an opportunity for this person to surrender. Obviously, there's a lot of people in this area, and at least it looks like this driver is looking out for them and not being too erratic when those pedestrians were there.
Yes, and Chris, we want to bring in Dave Avila, joining us now on this pursuit. Dave, I know you've been watching this as well. This driver has been relatively calm behind the wheel, it seems, not driving too fast. We're starting to see more erratic behavior, that car going around another car at that intersection. And in the past, he's been sitting at the intersections waiting for lights to change.
Yeah, and look, good morning, Amy, Chris. Yeah, talk about factors to consider. When we pull into that shopping center, that was kind of scary, because it really limits what the police can do. And you're right. I mean, this suspect has been driving somewhat safe. He's going at a relatively slow speed, so that's on our side. So we got the black and whites behind him, the air unit overhead. I haven't heard anything that they know who the suspect is. I was waiting for confirmation on that, but I don't know. But in any pursuit, we always worry if the suspect has a gun. You can never assume that they don't. You assume that there's a possibility that they do, so you're prepared to handle it in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, good to hear from you. Chris Holmstrom here. Yeah, watching this
Because,
pursuit right now, I mean, when we saw on the freeway, we saw through some of the city streets, you had 5 or 6 black and whites police enforcers out there trying to get this person to pull over. Right now in the neighborhood, we're not seeing them follow as closely as we usually do. Tell us a little bit about the process of right now. I mean, he went from the freeways to the city streets. He was in a busy parking lot of some sort of business, and then now he's in the neighborhood and going at a slower speed. He obviously has to know they're trying to get him to pull over.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely knows that. And as you had mentioned before, I was listening about how they usually try to stick around in neighborhoods that they're familiar with. It doesn't look like it here because we're driving around aimlessly. I mean, we're just going all over the place. But that suspect is probably on their cell phone, just delaying the inevitable. And it's a 459 suspect, burglary suspect. That's been confirmed. So I'm just taking a peek at
Yeah.
messing around.
We're showing our viewers now on the right side of your screen. A little earlier, this is when we were able to zoom in and show that suspect inside that vehicle. Looked like he might have been, I don't want to jump to conclusions what he was doing, but
Lighting
he was moving
something.
around, lighting something. And
Yeah.
at one point, we did see him on a cell phone. It looked like he was texting. We don't know if he was trying to communicate with someone who, it's hard to say. Sometimes they try to get someone to meet up with them, let them jump in their car. But we're back to what's happening live. And we have seen his driving change a bit, a little more erratic, still not going excessively, fast, but being a little more aggressive at intersections, passing cars. The windows down now. We're trying to see still, Dave, if there is, in fact, anyone in the passenger seat. And look, he's now going around these cars, which,
Yeah.
in the past, he was just sitting, waiting patiently at these intersections. But we've got more cars on the road now.
Yeah, and that desperation is kicking in here. So I think before it's just he's on a cruise, and I think he's doing some type of dope, and that's probably just calming him down. But and some of the viewers may be saying, well, he stopped at the intersection back there. Wasn't that a good time to approach the vehicle? And of course, we know no, because it's always about citizen safety. You don't
Yeah,
want to approach the vehicle, and if the suspect gets out with the gun, all of a sudden rounds are fired. That's the last thing you want. That's why we just sit back. We're going to stay. We got the air unit overhead, with black and whites on them. So we'll just see how far he goes. But as we've just seen, the desperation's kicking in a little bit now.
I mean, yeah, it makes you wonder when we saw him light something up, what, about 5-10 minutes ago, and now the driving is becoming a little bit more erratic. I mean, obviously, you're a former LAPD pilot. When the pilot is watching that and they're letting, the officers and the sergeants down below know what's going on, is there a different kind of protocol when you see someone who might potentially be doing drugs as to how you deal with them? Because now there was something that shows that, potentially proves that?
That's a great point, Chris. I'm glad you brought that up. I wish I had. But from the air unit is definitely relaying everything that they see. They don't assume, they could say, okay, here's what I have. I went out front. I could see there wasn't a passenger or there was a passenger, but they tell them exactly what they've seen, what they're looking at. As far as the narcotics involved, I've seen it before where at the end of a pursuit or even a call, especially back in the day when we had what they used to call SHRMs and PCP and that sort of stuff, the takedown becomes a lot more difficult because they are almost like Superman. It takes a bunch of officers to get that suspect down. I don't know if he's at that level, but by the way he's driving. But yeah, that is a factor to consider also. Their mind's not right. They may want to just shoot it out. Well, here we go. We're picking it up again. 50 miles per hour going to 60.
And did somewhat of a U-turn there. Started to go to the right, then whipped it back around, but still struggling to see in that passenger seat and if there is, in fact, anyone in there or just items in that passenger seat. But we are definitely seeing more aggressive driving, picking up the speed. Fortunately, there aren't as many people on the road as we often see on a late Friday morning, but definitely more aggressive driving. And
Dave, when you're driving in areas like this, obviously kids are back to school in the valley. When they do pass by elementary schools like this person has, what is protocol with LAPD and as far as the school district or schools go? Because obviously, if there is a burglary suspect that is going through the neighborhood, the teachers and staff, they need to be notified.
What happened is the air unit, that's one of the things the air unit's going to pass on. It's going to say, hey, we're coming up on a grade school up ahead. If the kids are out, they'll let them know. So as far as the notification, I'm not sure if, they're going to notify them and say, lockdown, when it's just, I shouldn't say just, it's a pursuit. So I believe, but the word is getting out via the air unit.
And we're watching as those two cars are trying to make that turn into the intersection, and the cruisers are back pretty far back, so they probably have no idea that this person was going through this intersection with cruisers on his tail. They've given him a little more space, Dave, which is oftentimes something that we see happen, and that driver will slow down a bit, but we haven't seen real excessive speed. So why would you think that they're giving him a little more space?
I'm trying to de-escalate it. Trying to, you can imagine, even though he's doped up, in my opinion, I believe that he's doped up. There we go. We got back on it again. But there comes a point where you say, okay, let's try to de-escalate this thing. And if it works, you will stay with it. Maybe go into tracking. But if it doesn't, and there's a threat to the community, it's the officer's decision to go ahead, or the incident commander, to get back on it, lights and siren, warn the public, here comes somebody that's not paying attention to the rules of the road.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay attention. I mean, we saw this, the driver, for the most part, obeying the rules of the road, but then now we're seeing him, fly through these roads. I mean, he's right now in the North Hills area. This burglary suspect was originally wanted in North Hollywood, so he's still sticking around the valley, the San Fernando Valley, as he continues this pursuit. I'm thinking, Amy, I've only seen one person inside. I haven't really seen the other, the passenger side, but it appears to be a guy potentially in his mid-20s to the early 30s. We did see him at some point lighting something up, not exactly sure what that was, but once that did happen, this person driving a little bit more erratic. There's been times where he's pulled over into neighborhoods, kind of stopped, and then kept going. And we also saw this person, what appears to be texting on his cell phone, potentially talking to a friend or family member for that matter. But he's sticking to the city streets, and it makes you wonder if it's because he knows this area better, or maybe, there's concerns about, freeway traffic and the congestion that could be there. Thankfully, Amy, what we are seeing though is a Friday light-ish.
Yeah, definitely Friday light, Chris, and we're seeing him pick up speed a little bit here, going over 50 miles an hour, and this is about as fastest that we've seen him on Surface Street, so we are seeing him pick up speed, and again, the roadway pretty open that he's able to do this. We did see those cruisers also getting a little closer to him, and now again, they backed off a bit, so we don't know if, they're just trying to see if he'll slow down a bit. But, the one thing, Dave, is that he has not been, even though he's been staying in the valley, in the area, he has not been doing what we often see, like circles going on the same streets that would allow officers to put out spike strips. He keeps going in different directions, going underneath the 405 right now, and I don't believe he's going to be able to get back on it, but we'll see. he might be doing just that, getting up on the 405, it looks like right now, which anyone in the LA area knows the 405 any time of day can be tricky. Kalina was just talking to us about the traffic that was happening there with construction, but definitely seeing him pick up speed and getting on the 405.
Yeah, does that surprise you, Dave? I mean, he was the city streets for most of an hour, and now he's on the freeway.
Yeah, back there, he made a turn. It was like he was just driving normal a ways back, and all of a sudden he made a hard U-turn and then picked up the speed. It's almost like he decided, oh, I just found a place to go. So maybe it's going to be north of the valley. Maybe we're going to head way out there. Not sure. We'll see. We're pretty far north. But the speeds have picked up. And if you had noticed, they call it the package. It's the primary unit, secondary unit, and the third unit, the textbook type LAPD pursuit. It's the supervisor who's the incident commander at that point. They stick together, the three of them. They call it now package. And as they're following this pursuit, they're consistently, it's like an ongoing assessment requiring officers to weigh the necessity of immediate suspect apprehension versus, as you had mentioned earlier, if they know who the suspect is, they can come out, they can look for him or get ahead of him. But yeah, right now, I was kind of surprised he got on there. But I don't know. It kind of looks like he's got a place he's intended to get to.
Yeah, well, he's on the 405 North, and, Dave, we talked about this quite a bit in the many pursuits that we've covered together, that it is a little bit better for them to be on a highway because you don't have the pedestrians, you don't have those stoplights, everybody's heading in the same direction, and you're avoiding those dangerous intersections. So this is better, still dangerous, but not as dangerous as those surface streets. So in some ways, maybe officers are happy that he's on the 405 instead of those surface streets, even though we're watching as it looks like he's getting off now.
Yeah, we're going to get up on Rinaldi, way at the north end of the valley. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Amy. I mean, we've seen it before, and I've said it before. We both said it before. We don't have to worry about, when they're on the freeway, we don't have to worry about schools, cross traffic, pedestrians. But here we go.
Back on those surface streets.
Yeah, one of the things that you mentioned, he's getting off on Rinaldi. That is the north end of the valley. So same surface streets, but also sticking to the valley. He was just on the 405 northbound. We were wondering if he was going to continue this and continue to keep going on the freeway. But it appeared this person wanted to exit the city streets. Maybe he feels more comfortable on the city streets, what have you. But if you're just watching this right now, this all started around 10:13 this morning. It was a burglary suspect wanted. That's in the North Hollywood area. That's when the pursuit started. We saw him go from city streets to the 101 to the 170, most recently the 405. And does it look like he's getting back on?
Yeah, looks like he is back on the 405. Yes. He is there and still, going at decent speeds. Of course, we're going to be staying on top of this simulcasting, and we are going to be tossing over to our colleague, Rachel Kim, who is going to continue this coverage for you.
All right, Amy and Chris, thank you so much. And to our viewers out there now joining us, welcome to CBS LA at 11. I am Rachel Kim. We have been following this breaking news since shortly after 10 a.m. A police pursuit of a burglary suspect that started in North Hollywood. We've been watching this from SkyCal for about an hour now. As we know at this point, a young male driver behind the wheel, leading police on this pursuit from North Hollywood, started in North Hollywood, has been basically traveling all throughout the San Fernando Valley. Several black and whites behind him this whole time. Also, LAPD's helicopter above, communicating with their officers on the ground. Up to this point, we haven't seen excessively fast speeds, about 50 to 60 from what we're seeing. But he's been going from the freeway, started on the 101, went on the 101 for quite a bit, then went to the city streets, back onto the freeway, onto the 405. Just a short time ago, our Kalina Strinos noticed that the suspect was going the wrong way, but then turned around and went into the right direction. Right now, I do want to bring in retired LAPD pilot Dave Avila. You've been with us for the past hour, watching this with us. Dave, what do you make of this right now? Do you see the suspect's driving behavior get more aggressive, perhaps erratic?
Oh, Rachel, yeah, absolutely. When he went on the southbound off ramp, he went northbound on that. A couple of cars had to get out of his way. Slowly, he slowed down. Then he did a 180 to get on the southbound 405. And we were talking earlier about how he's staying in the valley. You know, this was a Van Nuys caper, and that he was just staying there. And we were thinking, okay, well, it looks like he's going to continue north and leave, but no, he got off the Rinaldi, went west, northbound in the southbound off ramp, and now he's grabbing the right side of the road. So it looks like he's going to start heading back to familiar territory, which we usually see. But as you had mentioned, it looks like the desperation once again is kicked up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I want to touch on that, Dave. So many times in these pursuits, we do notice that these suspects tend to stay in the area they're familiar with. They want to, be in an area where they know there's exits or places to turn into. We definitely noticed that here. Earlier, we also saw our Sky Cal focus in on the driver's seat. It seemed to us that he was texting somebody for a little bit while he was stopped at the intersection. Did you see that as well?
Yes, oh, absolutely. And we were talking about that earlier. You know, the air unit, no doubt, seen it, and they'll relay that to the ground units. And he was also lighting up this is not good.
Yeah, it seems like he's turning into, I don't know what this is. It's an apartment complex, but it looks like he's hiding from the aerial resources under that
carport.
Carport, exactly.
It looks like a gas station.
Is it a gas station? Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, earlier we saw him turn into a shopping center parking lot, which of course complicates things, but he definitely knows he's being tracked, and perhaps this is intentional, try to hide under that. Is that the suspect right there he's putting in gas in his vehicle? We do know he is in a black Honda sedan. He's been in this for about an hour now, and it looks like he is running out of gas. First time we're getting a clear picture of the suspect. Again, a young male driver. So far we know that, he's getting agitated, clearly in a hurry here. Looks like he has enough gas and is just getting back into his vehicle, getting back on the road right now, but you can see LAPD's helicopter right above him, not losing him. He is now back on the streets, this time back in North Hills, Nordoff Street in Haskell. That is his location. Let's look at his speeds, Dave. Now going about 55 on surface streets, now accelerating to the 60s. We didn't see that before. Early on on the surface streets, Dave, he was obeying all the traffic laws, stopping at the intersections. But as you mentioned, his behavior, his driving is definitely escalating, and he's now going 60 plus. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. As we mentioned before, so the other thing too, Rachel, he's putting in gas, so that's telling us that he has no plans on stopping in the near future. The air unit, kudos to that air unit, by the way. Outstanding job. Officers make me proud when I see that, the way they maneuver that thing so they could look underneath the carport, keep their eyes on the suspect. Fantastic. We're now, looks like we're going northbound, high rate of speed. You mentioned, Rachel, this was, all of a sudden it's changed. It's really changed from earlier, as you had mentioned. That was the way he was kind of like, not obeying all the rules, and of course.
Relatively speaking, he stopped at the intersections, stopped at the red lights, then would proceed when the light turned green, but definitely not the case right now. Behavior driving definitely escalating. Looks like he's in a residential area right now. Fortunately, not a lot of cars on the road in that area. A lot of homes. Don't know if he's familiar with this area, but as we mentioned before, Dave, seems to me that he's circling the San Fernando Valley. He's now in North Hills. He's been in, North Hollywood, Lake Balboa, Encino, Reseda, Van Nuys, Mission Hills. He's basically familiar with the valley and looks like he's staying here. And right now he is turning around, going the other way. He's obviously aware, Dave, that he's got several black and whites on his tail. And most importantly, your unit above. Impossible for him not to notice that. He knows that he's being followed at this point, and perhaps explaining his increasing speeds right now. Looks like he is on Plummer Street in Gothic Avenue, near Gothic Avenue in North Hills. Looks like
alley.
he's in the alley.
So
You're right. Looks like he's slowing down, anticipating what's coming right there. Okay. We've been fortunate up till now, Dave, that there hasn't been any close calls with, through intersections or pedestrians
Absolutely.
or children on the streets. We were talking about earlier. Fortunately, kids are in school right now, but you never know. It is Friday. Kids could be let out early. We don't know what people have planned because it is the big weekend. But fortunately, we haven't seen the streets too busy at this point. So again, we have a burglary suspect wanted out of North Hollywood. The call came out shortly after 10 o'clock. He's been eluding police for a good hour right now. Looks like, we've got a unit right behind him there on
and
Tupper
we had
Street.
one in front of him.
Yeah. Okay, so we all along, Dave, we've had several units. They never lost sight of him. They continue to tail him. What is the strategy? I know you're a pilot. You were a pilot. You know what's going on above. What's the strategy as a pilot from, your officers who are in the helicopter and the officers who are on the ground pursuing the suspect? There's constant communication going on between the two, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. That TFO, that tactical flight officer, he or she is just broadcasting everything that's going on. Every move, they're watching to see if he throws anything out, which doesn't look like he has been. But definitely, and that's one thing, Rachel. You won't see the units. But because now the units are on them, but before you couldn't see the units because they went into a tracking mode. So the air units will just start broadcasting, northbound on this street, westbound on that street. He's in the alley, south, though, parallel to that sort of thing. So that way the officers on the ground know where the suspect's at, even though they may be a block away, east, west, north, south of the suspect.
I see. So that explains why we don't always see the black and whites behind the suspect. Great point there. Dave, I want to go now to our Kalina Estrino. She's been tracking the movements of the suspect as well. And Kalina, you were talking about earlier that there were several elementary schools in the path where this suspect was going. What can you tell us about that?
Oh my gosh, Rachel, this entire pursuit, I was getting so nervous because Lake Balboa and that particular area in Lake Balboa, in Van Nuys, near the Sepulveda Basin, near the Van Nuys Airport, it's literally elementary school after elementary school. Every other street has an elementary school. I know, like you mentioned, LAUSD is back in school. A lot of other school districts are back as well. But the problem is, like you said, it's a Friday, right? We have a lot of people who may be heading out of town. We also have recess time that's right around this time. We don't know if this person is armed just yet. I believe I heard you saying that earlier. And then when this person actually got on the freeway, that's when we saw them hit speeds of 90 miles per hour, even higher. So it's really dangerous to think that this person could drive that fast on the freeway and then almost take some of those speeds on these surface streets. I know the drive looks fine as far as traffic is concerned, but sometimes that becomes even more of a concern because you have these wide open roads that are typically driven at slower speeds. Now with someone potentially on them that could be driving a little bit faster. In this particular situation, I know the speed at the top right corner keeps on changing. So, we have a slower speed, we have an increase of speed. But earlier, this driver was not only driving by those elementary schools, which really made me nervous, but also hospitals. Also, this is the time frame, Rachel, where people run their errands, depending on if they, get a break from work or they work remote or, maybe they stay at home, whatever the case may be. A lot of people have Fridays off. So this 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. time frame is when we see a different pattern, when you do have a lot more people doing those random errands, right? Post office, school. Now you got him kind of doing a little zigzag in the roadway too. So in this area too, by the way, I remember he was driving down through an alley. A lot of these homes have garages that are on the alley. So as that driver was driving through, granted he was going slowly, I got a little nervous in case someone was pulling out of their garage in that alley and then heading, out for the day. Maybe there could have been an altercation. Thankfully, there was not. But as you know, this is a really congested area. We've got so many surface streets. We've got the major streets, of course. But it's interesting that this person is staying so familiar and just so
Right.
looped in. But I will say, I'm not quite sure how familiar they are, because when you look at the grid, you really can just go right, end up on one street, left, end up on another, take right, you're back on the highway. At one point, I want to say when he was driving down Haskell, he had to turn around because he ran into one of those lots that block the train tracks. So ran into that issue, then had to turn around. Then you saw when he tried to get on the freeway, but in the wrong direction, had to do another U-turn to try to get back on the freeway. It's just been interesting to see. And even when he pulled over to fill up his car with gas, you know, that's not something that you really see. I know he seemed agitated, looked like he had something in his hand. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but just interesting to see this all play out from earlier, where this driver was going pretty slow on those surface streets, not very fast on any of the freeways, all of that, to now periodically seeming to pick up that speed, seeming to seem a little more agitated in certain periods of time as we're watching. But I do get nervous because we saw this driver go through parking lots. There was a grocery store, there was a Make of America, you know, we've got the gas station, and just a lot of, this is a neighborhood full of families. Full of families.
Great point. That was very important to point out. And Kalina, you were talking earlier, both on the 101 and 405, that fortunately for the safety of the public, traffic was fairly light. You know, he didn't run into any cars. He was pretty much flying either direction. So there wasn't much there, but he went onto the surface streets. We saw his speeds increase. Like you said earlier, we were talking about the fact that it's unclear right now if this suspect is armed, but when there is an unknown, police always assume that he is, right? So they have to operate very carefully. We also got an inside look at the driver, you know, not only texting, but he seemed to be burning something. We're not sure if he was under the influence. He is under the influence, but it seemed like he was burning something in his hands. So he's clearly getting more agitated. So yeah, right now, again, we are in Granada Hills right now, Devonshire Street and Devonshire and Louise Avenue, going about 45 miles per hour. We've seen his speeds increase dramatically. Very erratic at this point. And to recap for our viewers who may be just joining us, you are watching a police pursuit that started just after 10, around 10:15 in the North Hollywood area. The driver of a black Honda sedan you see right there. This is a burglary suspect wanted by the LAPD. He has been pursued through the San Fernando Valley, both on surface streets and on the 101 and 405 freeways. Started up pretty calm. Speeds weren't too great, but we are seeing him gradually increase his speeds as time is going on, getting a little bit more erratic, getting onto the freeway on the wrong side, getting a little dicier at this point. I want to bring back retired LAPD pilot Dave Avila. Dave, you've been watching this with us for the past hour. What are you noticing? Any changes with this driver?
Just a desperation that we've seen. I mean, the speeds have kicked up. For some reason, I thought he found some place to go. One thing I want to mention, we noticed his motorcycle is intervening here. We asked the public over and over again, please do not get involved in this pursuit. You know, the police are highly trained in this. It's not their first rodeo. They've tried, they work it in the academy. But you got this guy with the motorcycle.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's making a bad thing worse by getting into this. And it's really, I mean, needless to say, how dangerous it is for police.
Absolutely.
We're in black and whites, lights and siren, and it's dangerous for us.
Dave, this is the thing you guys as police officers, as law enforcement, try to reiterate time and time again. You know, you may mean well, you want to be a good Samaritan, you want to help police, you want to do the right thing, but this is definitely not the thing to do at this moment. Like you said, he's not only putting himself in danger, the general public, law enforcement. This is not what we want to see. He's obviously trying to tell him to pull over or stop. Looks like he is. Let's see what happens here. He's trying to talk to this driver, and oh no. Okay.
That was just seeing dumb get dumber.
Yeah, that was not.
That was silly. That was silly.
And let's hope that he does not continue to follow. And I hope that he sees the police doing their thing, lets them do their job. Wow. Wow, very
Yeah,
dangerous.
exactly. That's our whole purpose in life is just to keep the public safe. And you're going to have these suspects all the time. I mean, we are Los Angeles. We're known as the city of pursuits
That's right.
uh, throughout the nation, probably worldwide. So, just sit back, let us do our job. I know it's not what the public wants to see. And as you had mentioned, there was a possibility that the suspect may be carrying a weapon.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that may be why no pit maneuver. I would think you would think, oh, they would have done a pit maneuver a long time ago. They had plenty of chances, but because the possibility of a weapon involved,
Well, there's
when you
the guy on the
go
bike
ahead.
again. I don't know what he's thinking, but he thinks he's helping possibly. I don't know. Is there a possibility, Dave, that this man on the bike may know this driver and just trying to talk some sense into the driver, telling him, hey, pull over? I don't know. But, we're assuming that he doesn't know the driver. And the risk is if this driver is armed, can you imagine what can happen here?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is very dangerous. But it looks
I was
like.
thinking the same exact thing what you just said. I'm thinking, well, maybe he knows them.
Yeah. Yeah, and
We've
maybe
seen
that's
that
why he's so
before.
bold and continuing to pursue and talk some sense into his friend, family member, whoever he may be. But you can see, Dave, the suspect has slowed down significantly. And there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black and whites behind him. Clearly, he's outnumbered. And it doesn't seem like he's trying to elude them at this point because we saw that he was going fairly slowly, compared to what we saw earlier.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the right side where he actually, the guy on the motorcycle gets in front of him.
Yeah, we're recuing the video from moments ago when that motorcyclist actually got in front of the suspect. So dangerous to do, got so close and put himself at risk. Obviously, he tried for, a few more minutes, tailing him and eventually slowing down to that intersection where he tried to talk to him. So let's hope that motorcyclist has come to his senses, and there he is again from earlier moments ago, saying something to the driver, and even trying to, touch the door, possibly get in, but that didn't work. Now we see a shot of your helicopter, the LAPD helicopter above. This whole time been following him, and units on the ground, Dave, tracking him as well. What's the strategy? You were talking about something earlier that I thought was interesting. People in the public may think, yeah, why don't you just throw down a spike strip and stop this guy right away? Why do you let him keep going? Can you explain to us what the strategy here is?
If you're always thinking about public safety, the safety of the public. And it was like at an intersection earlier, and I know people are thinking, well, there he is. He stopped. It's an intersection. You got black and whites behind him. Why don't you just get out, approach him?
Right.
Suspect gets out. If he has a weapon, which I'm kind of thinking they really believe he does by the lack of a pit in this pursuit. It's you're thinking way beyond that. Being just getting the suspect into custody may turn into a shootout, and that's the last thing you want,
Absolutely.
especially in a neighborhood, because behind the suspect are single family residents, cars traveling east and so that's what we're thinking. There's a lot that goes into this. They constantly review every pursuit. That's why we see all these new rules and procedures that are brought in
Sure.
from the old days.
Yeah, because public safety is number one. Let's look at this, Dave. We saw him burning something. You said there may be a possibility he's under the influence. What does that look like to you?
It looks like, and I won't say what exactly it is because I can't be sure, but I mean I've seen them where they light it. I mean before they would light this is going way back, but they used to call them sherms. It was marijuana sticks dipped in PCP, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What he has there, I don't think that's it, but there's a reason why he's got his lighter out, and he's actually heating this up.
Right.
So, I was a dope cop before for for a while. And there was a different thing. We had hash then, we had those sort of things, but things are changing so much now. I really can't be certain what. I'm just assuming from my point.
Sure, a lot of unknowns at this point, for sure.
And that's something that their unit would do what I just said. They wouldn't assume. They say exactly what's going on, nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, absolutely. Dave, let's take a look at the live pictures right now from SkyCal. The suspect again stopping at that intersection, fortunately not blowing through it, putting so many people at risk. But again, looks like he is following relatively the traffic rules, and you've got numerous black and whites, lights and sirens on behind, following very slowly, keeping a safe distance. Like you said, assuming that he could be armed, so definitely playing it safe here. They're staying pretty far away, looking at the fact that he's not going very fast. What could be going on right now? Does it look like, well, I don't know where we're looking right now. The suspect car is right there, just there we go.
Yes.
Approaching the intersection right there. Okay. So it does look like he is stopping at all the lights as we've seen before, taking it slow, kind of cautiously proceeding. Oh, okay, that's a close call there. But we've got all the officers continuing to follow him from behind. This is Balboa Boulevard and Plummer Street in the city of Northridge. You see the black and whites behind, following at a relatively safe distance there. And the suspect going only about, what's it registering? I don't see a speed here, but it looks like it's pretty slow compared to what we've seen before. Kalina Strinos was telling us that he clocked in at about 90 at one point. So we've seen him go from, crawling to just, rocketing down the roads and freeways here. So go ahead, Dave.
I'm sorry. There's some braking action going on also. So that's part of that. They're not tracking, but they pulled back. So the suspect it's actually de-escalated the pursuit, the speed. So I think that, like I said, they're always thinking what we can do differently. Every pursuit's different. I mean, I don't care what it is.
That's right.
There's never been two pursuits the same ever.
Absolutely. Yes, so many variables at play, right? I mean, you don't know the state of mind the suspect could be in. You don't know if there's anything putting them under the influence. There's so many different things that could happen and could go wrong. So understandably, all the officers want to play it safe. But you're right. Great observation, Dave. They're braking a lot. So could the suspect possibly be thinking about surrendering, stopping at some point? Because we did see him, fill the gas tank for a bit, got frustrated and just left. Maybe he's running out of gas. We just don't know. But they are getting close to him right now. Let's see where. Okay. They're following him under. Ooh, what building is that? Can we get a Zelza and Plummer Street? Kalina Strinos, can you get a good idea of where we are right now?
So I was trying to look at this. He's very close to Cal State Northridge.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if that might be one of the parking garages for it. It seems like it actually might be one of the CSUB parking structures there in the area near the tennis complex, and that looks like North Field. So yeah, he's right by, or right at, I should say.
You see, they're inside, Kalina. That's a great observation. I think you're right. This is CSUN, because look at all the campus there, and we see the lights inside the garage. So the suspect has gone in, and they're pursuing him inside. You see the lights go on over there. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Okay, so he's going pretty fast, because you see the black and whites chasing him. The strategy here, of course, Dave, as we know, many suspects go into these parking garages thinking that they won't be followed in, but you obviously see the officers. They're on his tail right now.
They haven't started school yet.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that parking structure should be empty at this point, fortunately, and campus not so crowded. Thank you, Kalina, for that. Dave, is this normal? Is this protocol? Do officers tend to follow suspects into parking structures? What are the protocol? What are the rules to this?
Yeah. Normally they would. We've seen it before where they actually follow them in. However, most of the time they'll pull in there and then we lose the vehicle. We'll find the vehicle, but we can't find the suspect, or we'll find him later. But this one, they're chasing him inside there. And a good call, yeah, because I believe it looks like it's pretty empty in there, and I think that's why they're moving so fast. So, you know, there's a chance, and it's kind of a real iffy about blocking a suspect. Like if he went in there and you put some black and whites and just blocked them, it's actually in the LAPD manual, but it prefaces it by saying it's highly discouraged. But it's not outlawed in the LAPD rule book. But you can do it. It's been done. I worked in Pursuit. We did it at Hancock Park, and it worked great. But this is totally different here.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
All right, Dave. So let's we're looking at live pictures on the left side in the little box. On the right, you see what we saw moments ago inside that structure. Looks like the suspect is back out of that structure, back on the streets here. We've continued to see the black and whites pursue him. Again, let's recap here for folks who may be just joining us. So we have been following this police pursuit since just after 10 this morning. A black Honda, a young male driver behind the wheel of a black Honda, a burglary suspect wanted out of North Hollywood. LAPD has been pursuing him and looks like he has stopped. All right, officers have their guns drawn. But he continues to go here, picking up speed again. Looks like he was about to stop, but he changed his mind and has now continued on. He's now back in his car. What happened there, Dave? It looks like the officers thought they had him. We saw a couple of officers get out with their guns drawn, and the suspect just got right back in and took off.
I think the citizen's vehicle, they're kind of held him up, and I believe the officers thought, well, that was one good chance of trying to get to him before he takes out. Boy, we had just fishtailed on that street right there. So the adrenaline is pumping again, and he is really moving out now. He was even straddling the double yellows, which is real scary.
All right, we will, of course, continue to watch this. Right now, we want to welcome in our KCAL 9 viewers. And we are signing off here on CBS. Again, we are following a police pursuit that started in North Hollywood just after 10 this morning. A burglary pursuit suspect wanted. He's been eluding police for about over an hour now, about an hour and 15 minutes. We've watched the suspect pretty much zigzag all throughout the San Fernando Valley on both the 101, 405 freeways through several surface streets. At speeds varying from, teens to up to 90. So we've seen erratic driving behavior from the suspect, continues to elude police right now in Granada Hills on Devonshire Street and White Oak Avenue. Just moments ago, we saw the suspect had entered a parking garage on the CSUN campus. We saw the black and whites follow him in and were pursuing him. They had the lights and sirens on, but he came out. Thought he may have stopped, thought he may have surrendered. Police got out of their car with gun drawn, but the suspect got back in his car and continues to lead police on this chase. Did come close there, Dave. Thought this guy was going to stop, but he got back in and had kind of a close call at that intersection where that car was going through. So here we are. We watched the suspect stop for gas. We watched him pull into a shopping center. We watched him pull into a parking garage at CSUN, like I mentioned. The question here is, Dave, how long can he go on? And by Dave, I'm talking about Dave Avila. He's a retired LAPD pilot who's been joining us and giving us great perspective. Thank you again for joining us, Dave. Here we are, an hour and 15 minutes into this pursuit. Right side of your screen, what are we looking at there? It came close. It looked like he was pinned, but he got away.
It did. But of course, the officers can't pull out in front of him. Of course, 2 reasons. Suspect may have a gun. And if there was any shots fired, it would be a crossfire. So that was out of the picture right there. But yeah, I mean the adrenaline's picked up again. I mean we're picking up on this.
Where is he right now? Let's take a look. Kalina Strinos, can you get a good view? Okay. Oh, okay. We're getting close. At this point, Dave, the viewer may be asking, at that point, why didn't the unit hit him right there just to stop him from, continuing to drive? What's the strategy there?
A pit maneuver doesn't just take one vehicle. It takes 2 to 3 vehicles. The initiating unit will pit the suspect. In other words, spin them around.
His
your
tire
is blown.
Yep. Okay. This is exactly what police want to see. Yeah. This has been going on for an hour and 15 minutes, and he is now blocked in by this SUV who just wants to park. And I don't think he has anywhere to go, Dave. He's got a blown right side back tire, but he's trying. He's picking up the speed here, trying to get away. But he continues to hit more traffic as he goes. It looks like he's hitting dead ends. He's trying to avoid it as best as possible. But, I don't think he can go much further, Dave. He's got a blown tire in the back. So are the police just going to pursue him until he can go no further, basically?
Pretty much, until, like I said, I really feel that they believe that this suspect does have a weapon. That's my opinion. It hasn't been verified. It was mentioned at the beginning of the pursuit. And I believe that's the reason why we're not doing the pit maneuver. Now, getting back to that pit maneuver, you have the primary unit will spin the suspect's vehicle. The second unit will come in and put its bumper up against the suspect's front bumper. The third unit will come in and be the backup unit. And of course, that's when we've seen everybody get out with their guns.
Got it.
So, it's just not if you have one black and white, he pits them, well, that doesn't do anything. So, there's a procedure for that.
Got it. Absolutely. That's why we need your expertise and your knowledge in these situations. All right. We see him at the intersection of Devonshire Street and Woodley Avenue. You've got the black and white right behind him, lights and sirens on, just, waiting for this guy to eventually pull over. And eventually his tire will give out because it's the right passenger side, right, Dave, that was blown that we saw?
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if they actually spiked it. I'm not sure, but on the flip side of that, that's the right rear. It has nothing to do with the control of the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not.
No.
Maybe that truck did it. Maybe that truck hit its right rear.
Right rear.
But either way, he's going to continue. He'll go on. The tire will be torn off. He'll go on the rim. That'll last forever. I've seen it before where the rim goes and then the suspect was actually being pursued and the vehicle was on the drum, the brake drum.
My gosh.
So we'll see what happens here. But as much as I'd like to see that delay this, stop him, I'm not sure it will.
Yeah, I mean, we know suspects get desperate and they'll do anything they can to get away from police. All right, let's look at some live pictures here. So we are looking at the 405 right there on your screen. Let me see, Kalina, do you see where the suspect is at this point?
We lost the picture for a second.
Okay.
Chopper, I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I think Chopper is actually trying to find the person, but initially they were driving parallel to the 405. There you go. So now entering that 405 freeway, this particular area, not seeing a lot of traffic on the 405 in either direction. If this driver were to head southbound, you'd hit traffic right in the area. They were kind of circling right around that Sherman Oaks, Van Nuys area near the Swolvita Basin. But northbound out of Mission Hills until you get to about the 514 to 10 area.
Okay.
That's where you start to see traffic. If this driver is planning on transitioning onto the road, we saw last time this driver was on the 405 North. He, I think, exited right before you could actually continue and transition onto the 5. I think we saw him get off on Rinaldi.
Yeah.
So not sure if that's going to be the case again. I was looking at my map. So, yep, it's the case. So he got off.
Okay.
Got off the freeway and just continues to circle in this same exact vicinity.
Yep, it looks like he's just going in circles throughout the San Fernando Valley. Yeah, appreciate that perspective, Kalina. I'm just wondering, the right rear tire we saw was clearly blown, yet it looks like he's doing just fine. at this point, Dave. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, that won't affect maneuverability of the vehicle at all. It'll drag, it'll slow him down. That's a plus.
Jeez.
But as far as out of control or anything, yeah, that won't happen because he still has both front tires. They're both still there.
I see. Yeah, you see the back,
good shot.
the part of the car is flapping back there, so there's clearly some damage to that vehicle. So we're talking about a black Honda sedan. I can't get a clear picture. Do we know what model this is by any chance? I'm not sure. We know it's a Honda, but it's been, I mean, we know he pulled in for gas maybe about 15, 20 minutes ago. Didn't have much time there. We saw him get frustrated and, you know, hang up the pump. But at some point, I don't know how much gas this Honda can hold, but he should be running low considering the fact that he stopped over to fill up his tank. But here we go again, going into about an hour and 15 into this pursuit. Been on the freeway in the San Fernando Valley, 101 to the 405, gets off onto the surface streets, going through several communities: Encino, Lake Balboa, Reseda, Van Nuys, Mission Hills, Granada Hills, where he is right now. Devonshire Street, of course, a very, very busy thoroughfare right there. And it looks like, is he getting on? Yeah, now he's at Blucher and Tuba Street in North Hills. Still going at a pretty good rate of speed. Not sure exactly how fast, but still fairly fast considering he has a blown tire. So we don't see the black and whites, Dave, with their lights and sirens on at this point.
No, and you know, I think this is just my feeling that in this pursuit, they feel that this type of a pursuit is working out better. He made the lights and siren. Once you hit him, he starts speeding up. But right now, we don't have any vehicles on the freeway that we can see. It's pretty clear.
Thankfully, right? I mean, it could be a lot worse. I mean, thank goodness it's not, you know, traffic and you know, 4 o'clock on a Friday. So this is the best case scenario in terms of public safety. But like you said, that's a great observation. You did say, Dave, that when the lights and sirens are on, his driving, his behavior tends to escalate and get more aggressive. Although we see him right now picking up speed as well, now into 50s, down to 35. So it's like up and down, clearly showing desperation. He knows that he's not in a good situation right now with that tire blown and so many units following him. So he continues just to go up the 405, circling the San Fernando Valley, staying in this area, probably very familiar with this area, not wanting to go any further, knows the ins and outs of this area, but very comfortable, you know, coming on and off the freeway at this point. Let's see. You made a good point earlier, Dave. I thought, you know, some people may wonder, why be so cautious with this guy? Why not be more aggressive? Well, that's because we have not established up to this point, no word yet from police, whether they know if this guy's armed. Now he's making an about face, turning, okay, going to the opposite side. Well, what is he doing? He's going the wrong way. Okay, well, there we go.
We'll see what happens. Oh, okay. Now we're gone.
Okay. He's on foot trying to run into the brush.
What I'm sure the area is talking about, when he got out, he keeps holding his right side pocket area.
I see that.
Okay.
All right.
There we go, boys. Yeah,
all right.
They'll go take him down.
Well, this is what we wanted to see. A conclusion where no one got hurt. No one in the public got hurt. No officers got hurt. It was a long one, 10:15 when this started. We are now at 11:40. The suspect, a burglary suspect, originally wanted out of North Hollywood, finally stopped after crashing into a police unit. He bails, tries to run across the freeway, but I think he literally ran out of gas, had nowhere else to go. And the suspect.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Oh. I was going to say, and this is one of those opportunities where we actually changed the rules a little bit. Yeah, he went head on with a black and white right here that stayed there. The other black and white comes in behind him, says, okay, that's enough. We're going to come in, make sure he doesn't go. He takes off on foot.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was interesting, Dave. You
got
said that the fact that he kept holding onto his right side, officers are thinking, is this guy going to pull out a weapon? So, yeah, definitely a red flag there. But I'm so glad to see that he decided to comply and, end this whole situation, because I think he realized he really had nowhere to go. And he clearly
it was frustrating, and we know it.
Yeah.
But this is what we were after, and you mentioned it. No big crashes, nobody hurt, just a suspect.
Ugh.
Took time, but it's LA. We got to adjust to every pursuit.
That's right. And we know that law enforcement has to adjust in every situation. So, Dave Avila, we certainly appreciate all your time, your insight, your input, all the knowledge that you've shared with us. It's very helpful for us to understand, where police are coming from and why police make certain decisions and do certain things. So thank you so much once again. We always appreciate you.
Hey, no worries anytime. Take care.
All right. Take care, Dave.